Welcome to Dishin, the Daughter and Daddy podcast. I'm Regan.
And I'm Mike. Daddy-daughter Disney travel talk meets fun and friendship.
Coming up on episode 7 of Dishin,
All aboard with listener train mail.
we talk about Disney pin trading with our special guest from the Champs and Chums podcast.
That's going to be so much fun. And we have our top 3, daughter and daddy, plus special guests. Pick their top 3 father, daughter, son, sports, teams, families.
Daughter and Daddy outside the park.
Our special segments, Walt's Wisdom and the Extra Magic Minute.
Please keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside of the podcast at all times, because your ride is about to embark.
Welcome back to Dishin' It. I'm Mike.
And I'm Regan.
So it's episode 7, Regan. It's Father's Day. That's when
What?
we're releasing this episode. What?
Ha ha.
Haha.
Yep.
So we're taping this slightly in advance. So what did you get me for Father's Day?
Something.
Something. Okay. So I'm not getting any secrets here.
Yoga.
Yoga? What do you mean, yoga? Like a mat? Like a yoga mat?
Sure, making stuff up.
Oh, okay. All right. So we will see if I get a yoga mat.
No.
So we're going to celebrate Father's Day and celebrate all the fathers, the dads, the papas, grandfathers, granddads, grandpas, opas, and of course all the mums too. Okay, so Father's Day wouldn't be Father's Day without all the mums out there. And so special shout out to the mums who make every day of the year so special. So on this episode, we have a special father-son duo joining us. The Champs and Chums team, Anthony and Ashton, will be joining us a little later. And they're going to talk about Disney pin trading, their first trip to Disney All-Star Resort. And they're going to actually join us for a top 3 father-son-daughter sports family segment.
Clap.
Clap, yeah, oh, yeah. It's going to be so much fun, right, Regan?
Yes.
Yeah. I was really looking forward to having them on, so I'm glad they could join us as being our first ever guest. Oh. Yeah, so Regan was waving her hands very frantically in excitement, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, folks, we hit the mic there, but that's going to happen, and because we're live and we're just enjoying it.
That hurt.
That hurt. No, it's okay. Do you need first aid?
No.
No. Okay, good. All right. Okay, so I think it's that time, Regan. I hear the train coming in, and it's time for train mail. Do we have any train mail, Regan?
Yes, we do.
Oh.
We got a letter from Madison.
Yep. What does Madison want to know?
Madison wants to know if we have any summer plans.
Do we?
I don't know. I don't plan them.
Yeah. So, folks, we originally we were going to do a Disney cruise. We were going to go to where are we going? Iceland. So it was 12 night 12 night cruise to Iceland, and it was going to be so much fun. We were really looking forward to it.
Mostly Mom.
Oh, I was really looking forward to it. We were planning on doing one of the excursions into the Arctic Circle, which was going to be really cool. Yeah, and but with the COVID-19 and the uncertainty of travel and just keeping everybody safe, we canceled that trip, and so
Yep.
we're not going. So it looks like we're going to be staying in the beautiful province of Ontario, and
Yep.
Yep, yeah. We thought about maybe going out to the east coast of Canada and maybe the prairies or something like that, but I think we're just going to stay in Ontario.
Yep.
So any places in Ontario you'd like to see, Regan?
Yukon.
That's not in Ontario. So you want to go to the Yukon way up north?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun. Now we weren't there, but we did go to Alaska, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mountains.
Yeah. But anything around here that you might want to do in Ontario, close to home? No?
Fly.
Okay. So Regan's at a loss for words, and she's not sure. So I think for us, Mrs. H and I are talking about maybe going to Ottawa or going maybe up northern part of Ontario, maybe go to Sault Ste. Marie or just thinking maybe a themed road trip, like maybe find all the little hidden fish and chip gems in Ontario, from Lake Superior to Lake Huron, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, like all around, just local mom and pop shops. Folks, if you got an idea for a great staycation of sorts, send us an email. We'd love to hear from you at dishinitpodcast@gmail.com. So hopefully that answers Madison's question.
Yay.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're going to switch gears and move into having the Champs and Chums team join us. So stay tuned, folks. You're listening to Dishin It, the Daughter and Daddy podcast. Well, Regan, that was fantastic. It's time to welcome our special guests to the episode here, our special Father's Day episode. We have on the line
Champs and Chums podcast hosts.
Yeah, we have Anthony and Ashton on the line. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, hey, Regan and Mike. We're so delighted to be here. Ashton, how you feeling about being on the Dishin It podcast?
I feel really excited.
Yay.
Amazing.
That's
Thanks
great.
for having us on.
Yeah, no, thanks for joining us. We're really excited to talk to you. You guys are been our inspiration for doing the podcast. We've gotten a lot of valuable tips and tricks from you guys, and we're really excited to have you on and talk a little bit of sports families, talk a little bit about your Disney vacation, and some pin trading. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be great, guys. Looking forward to the conversation, and I must say, Ashton and I have had some great listens of your episodes, and we're equally inspired. So glad to be on, and looking forward to this great chat with what it was truly Ashton, our chums, Mike and Regan, right?
Yep.
Excellent. All right.
Okay, so now I know you've been to Disney, Ashton. Tell us about your experience. Where did you stay in Disney?
I stayed at the All-Star Sports Resort, and I really liked that hotel because it had a big cafeteria and with the pool at the back. And before you enter the cafeteria, you can look at your right and you see an arcade game
amazing.
stop. And it's actually cool. It's like going to an arcade game place, but it's actually in your hotel. So it's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll leave it to Son, right? Just to a quick boot to the right and over to the arcade, and let's not forget about the pool. But yeah, it was a great time for sure, Ashton. Well, keep going. Mike and Regan want to learn a little bit more.
And once you walk in, you'll see this sports shop, and and once you go inside, there's like different categories in each section, like baseball, football, basketball,
Soccer.
badminton, tennis, like all of that sports.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, we haven't stayed at the All-Star Resorts yet, so you are providing the scoop to all our listeners. So that is fantastic, Ashton. That's excellent. What was your one highlight of the resort?
My one highlight was me meeting all of my favorite Disney characters, and I have a second one, which is going to Chef Mickey. That was actually a good place to have dinner at. You should go to Disneyland or Disney World, because they're in both places. You should try that because once quarantine's over, you can go try Chef Mickey.
That's definitely on our bucket list, so we've marked that down, and maybe one day we can go as two families. We can go together.
Oh, we'd love to, Ashton. How about that? That
Yeah.
sounds like a great deal.
Yeah, that does sound like a really good idea.
Well, especially with Uncle Mike and Vegan and the rest of their family, because they are pros. They know the great places, all the inside and outs, and we've been so delighted to hear all the episodes and getting great insights, and I know all your listeners are too. So you're on, guys.
Yeah, so for you, Anthony, so being the parent, booking the trip and everything, how did you find the whole process, just the customer service in Disney? What were your thoughts on all that?
Oh, Mike, so and just to set the context for the listeners as well, too, it was not only just Ashton's debut at Disney last August, but it was mine. And, you read a lot of things, and, I've got a marketing and communications background, and you hear all the time about the Disney experience, and, that certainly came to life last August when we went. I mean, everything was taken care of from just the beginning of our experience to the middle to the end. I mean, every detail was thought about. So in terms of the bookings, and I know both you, Mike, and Regan have talked about how things are very turnkey and smooth. That was absolutely our experience too, Ashton? Because there we were. We landed in Orlando, and we had no trouble finding a Disney cast member, as they call them, who helped get us on that bus. Why don't you tell them a little bit about that magical express bus that we took?
So we took this express bus. It was actually really cool because it had pictures of movies all over the wall, and at night, when you pass by some hotels, they look really nice from the train view.
Yeah. So yeah, to answer your good question there, Mike and Regan, everything from the booking was done so easily. I mean, you guys were so helpful too in giving us insights in terms of how we can fully maximize the experience. I mean, we went to I would call it the ground level in terms of being on the resort at the All-Star Sports Resort. And, as you guys have followed us on our podcast, we're big sports fans, so that was a really good experience to take in. I think it's one of the, I think actually you guys have noticed, it's one of the older ones on the resort, but we just enjoyed it, and it was good for us, and we were able to take full advantage of some of the amenities on it, because it had the great pool, and it was all kind of sports inspired. So for two chums like Ashton and I, it was a dream. And of course, Mom came with us as well too, and had a wonderful time.
Well, that's fantastic. We're glad you had a great time there. All the resorts at Disney are fantastic. There's a little bit of everything for everyone, and certainly All-Star Sports themed, really fits in with the Champs and Chums podcast. You guys are big sports fans and insiders on many different levels, so it's great that you were there having a fantastic time in your niche, which is sports. Now, Regan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think Regan has a question for Ashton. She's just dying to ask. Go ahead, Regan.
So I have 4 questions, and you don't have to answer them with your reason. So if you don't know why you like that thing, you don't have to say it. But if you do have the reason why you like it, but you don't want to say it, you don't have to say it. I'm not forcing it. But
Okay.
How did you think the hospitality was at your
All-Star Sports?
All-Star Sports? How do you think the hospitality was?
Now, the hospitality, Regan, it's a big word, and it would mean, I guess, the level of service, the types of food. Like, how did you feel the overall experience was taking care of you?
I think it was great, actually, because they basically we could get a drink or food from the cafeteria 24/7 because it's open all night.
Well, actually, let's get to the real reason why you loved it, because there we were. And so to give your listeners a perspective, we got whisked away in that wonderful Disney Magical Express bus. We, as you've said, Mike and Regan, many a times, didn't have to worry at all about our luggage that came with us from Canada, and we went right into the lobby. We were checking in, and all of a sudden someone comes in and gives you, Ashton, a basketball, and you started playing with it. Do you remember that? You were playing with that basketball in the lobby?
No, I don't remember. Oh, yeah, the day that we left.
That's right. So there was lots to do, guys. The entertainment was great there, and the service was every question we had was answered.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, you know what? They make it magical right from the start, and it's those little things that they do that makes it so special.
Now, for sure. I think you guys have told me about all the good insights about, and Dad, certainly myself, I was just enchanted by that wonderful Disney mug that I used every day as I moved right into the food court area of the All-Star Sports Resort and grabbed my, what was that, Ashton? My favorite was Peak Iced Tea, I think it was.
Gold Peak Iced Tea.
Oh, Gold Peak, that's what you got.
Well,
good to the last drop, Regan.
Sounds yummy.
Well, on the subject on food, what was your favorite thing you ate there, and why, if you want to explain why you liked it?
It would be the pizza, and it was really good.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I would like to pick the hot dogs, but no, I think I like the pizza better.
Yeah, the pizza's pretty good. It is great. They're huge sizes, and there's lots of choices with the pizzas you can order. So, guys,
lots to share.
Yeah. So I think we'd like to know, and I'm not too sure if you had an opportunity to, but I think you had an opportunity to do some pin trading while you were there. Is that correct?
Yep, that is correct.
Yeah. So I think we might, let's talk a little bit about pins. So just for the listeners at home, there is some Disney pin trading etiquette, and maybe we'll just go over a few of the Disney pin trading etiquettes. So pins must be the official Disney pins and bearing the copyright Disney mark.
Guests can take up to 2 pins per cast member that you can trade per day.
Yeah. Pins must be exchanged for pins only and nothing else.
For safety, trade one pin at a time, from flat open hand to flat open hand with the pin back attached.
Refrain from touching anyone's pins or lanyards. Always ask for a closer look if needed.
Pins should be in good condition.
That's some of the pin trading etiquette. So Ashton, tell us about your pin trading experience. What did you love about it? What did you maybe just like about it? Do you have any favorite pins?
I have actually lots of favorite pins in this pile. I have a Mickey one with actually no face, and it's like a character Mickey. There's a Mickey head. There's a mini head I have. There's a Mickey pixel head of him. There's a Goofy pixel head. There's this, it looks like a Captain Marvel logo, but I'm not sure. And there's actually one downstairs that's like green and black that says Mickey Mouse, and it has his head on it.
Well, and I tell you, Mike and Regan, Ashton was so excited to join you for this segment on your episode that he brought them up here where we're talking to you from. So father and son are looking at these wonderful pins, and you actually have to say a thank you, right, to Uncle Mike, because he actually not only, as he's done for the listeners, enlightened you about this wonderful culture of pin trading, but he also provided you with a great start.
Yeah, he actually did. Yes, he actually did. Let me think. I think he gave me a lanyard to put my pins on.
You got it. Special delivery. You remember that day?
Yep, I remember it.
Yeah, that's great. So thanks, Mike and Regan, for all that great insight. And actually, that's a great point that you mentioned about you can only trade one pin at one time. So I guess what I'm hearing, there's no blockbuster deals like they see in sports, like 4 for $4 kind of thing, or.
So within the cast member group, so we can go up and trade with cast members, they will always accept your trade. So that's kind of a nice thing for the kids to do. From customer to customer, that's not the case. We encourage one pin for one pin. Pins do have different values for everybody, for the listeners at home. If you look on the back of your pins, if you see like an OE, it's an open edition pin. LR is a limited release pin. LE would signify a limited edition size. And then there's some pins that are extremely hard to come by, and they would be called like the holy grail of pins.
Wow. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, and so it goes back to the 80s pin trading in Disney. Sometimes as you take advantage of some special excursions at Disney or events, you will be given an opportunity to purchase or even given a pin to keep. And these are like nice collector's pins that people don't like to trade. But generally, when we do our trading, it's one for one. And we try to find a pin that maybe completes a set or is very unique or means something special to us.
Yeah, I have one that means something very special to me.
What is that pin, Regan?
So we went on a Disney cruise. We went on the Fantasy, and there's this thing that is Detective Mickey, and you solve mysteries. And in the gift shop, there's a Detective Mickey member pin that had a badge, so you're like a detective. So then I got the pin. That pin's pretty special because when I grow up, I want to be a police officer or a detective.
Wow.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's awesome. Ashton, what's your favorite pin out of all the group there?
I would say my favorite pin is the Mickey Pixel Head one.
Nice. Now, Mickey pins are very special. They're very unique. Like Mickey is the centerpiece of all of Disney. Because what's that saying, Regan? It all started with a mouse. Am I correct? Yeah. So Mickey pins are very special. Do you put it on display anywhere in the house, or just have it tucked somewhere safe?
Well, I usually have it tucked somewhere safe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's with those magic bands as well, too, Ashton? The ones that we had.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. So with the magic bands, great. I think Regan has a question, how you use those magic bands, but take it away, Regan.
So, what is your favorite ride and why is it your favorite? You don't have to say why. It's just if you want to. But what is your favorite ride at Disney World or Land?
My favorite ride would be the Buzz Lightyear one because we got to shoot stuff and get points.
Yeah, that one.
And I really like to just like watch something that is really entertaining for me. And I heard on your podcast a way that you can get more points when your points go down in that game that I was just talking about.
Somebody,
so go listen to that episode.
Yeah, somebody listens to the end of the episode. That was one of our
Easter eggs.
Easter eggs at the end.
We're certified big fans of the Dishin podcast, so that's evidence of that, Mike and Regan.
I blew away his number one secret that he had.
Yeah, I've used that secret many times to beat the kids on that game.
Okay, note for dads, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Love it. So, so for the folks at home, I think we're going to wrap up the pin trading portion of the show. We really thank the Champs and Chums podcast team for joining us and sharing their experience at the All-Star Sports Resort and pin trading. Ashton, it's fantastic, all that knowledge you have about pins and how it was so much fun for you. And just sharing a perspective of the planner and the child being there at the All-Star Sports Resort. We really appreciate you guys coming on for us. I know you're going to be staying around for the top three with us, so which is great. But your podcast, Anthony, Ashton, it's about sports. It's about father-son. Tell us a little bit about the podcast.
Yeah, well, I'm going to let my sidekick, you take it away. So tell the listeners on this great podcast of Dishin It a little bit about the Champs and Chums podcast, Ashton.
So, the Champs and Chums podcast is me and my dad's podcast. We have a podcast about sports, life, and friendship, and we're gonna do episode 10, I think, in probably
next week on Father's Day weekend. It'd be a great.
Yep.
Yeah, we get some special things lined up.
We got a special guest, but we can't tell you guys.
Congratulations!
That's awesome.
Yeah, you don't want to do a spoiler alert, eh?
Yep.
It's a teaser.
Good stuff.
Yeah, no, that's great. We're big fans of the podcast. Obviously, it's what got us started. You're our inspiration. We really encourage our listeners to check out Champs and Chums podcast. Fantastic information, both on a national sense with sports, inside information about the Leafs and the Raptors, about sports management at a senior level, but also just how fans interact with sports in a father-son relationship. Great show. Where can we find you? Where can we find the Champs and Chums?
Yeah, Ashton, tell them where they can hear us and where they can check us out on social and then our website.
Okay, so our places you can hear our podcast is Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio,
Google Play,
Google Play, iTunes.
And all those great platforms. The Dishin It team, they're on there as well, too. Yeah, so you can listen to us there, and then also champsandchums.com, and we're on all the social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So, yeah, it's been great being on with you guys.
Perfect. Thanks so much for joining us. I know you're going to be sticking around for our top 3 segment. So just one more thing for the listeners.
Daddy, enough! You could go on this for days, but you need to stop. You just need to
I
stop.
had one more thing about pins I wanted to say.
Fine.
Okay, no, it's okay. I always get cut off. So for the Champs and Chums team, I have information for people, but Regan cuts me off. Apparently, I talk too much.
You could babble and on forever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Speaking of which, if listeners want, they can get their Daddy Enough T-shirt and get it off our website. Shameless plug. Anyways, we're gonna move into our top 3 segment with our Champs and Chums guests, and today we're going to be talking about our top 3 father, son, daughter, family, sport families. And we have 3 levels of excellence. We have our 3rd star, 2nd star, and our 1st star. So for our Champs and Chums team, why don't we start with you for your top sports family, your 3rd star?
Our bronze medal is the Manning family.
Oh, yes, the Manning family, Mike and Regan. So that's our 3rd star is the Manning family, a famous football name, of course. Archie Manning starred for the New Orleans Saints from 1971 to 82. Mm-hmm. Also moved on to the Houston Oilers and Minnesota Vikings. And, of course, his 2 sons were Eli Manning and Peyton Manning, 2 All-Stars in their own right, and each of them won 2 Super Bowls. So that's our 3rd star on this fun segment.
Yeah, you know what? I never even thought that the Archie Manning actually played football, but it's good to know that. I discovered that right now. That's fantastic. And he had 2 great sons playing football as well. So Regan,
absolutely.
What is our 3rd star?
The Hart family, known as Hart Dynasty.
Yeah, so Stu Hart owned and operated the famous Dungeon in Calgary. So this is a wrestling family. And famous family wrestlers are Bret the Hitman Hart, Owen Hart, and Natalia.
They are Canadian wrestling history.
That's right.
And royalty.
Yeah. So that's our 3rd star. So, Champs and Chums, your 2nd star.
Our silver medal is the Guerrero family.
Oh, that's right, and not Eddie Guerrero, for all you wrestling fans out there. Mike and Regan, we know you're big wrestling fans, as are we. But this goes into the baseball diamond. Vladimir Guerrero, Jr. and Senior. What a great family. Pure hitters from the Dominican Republic is where they powered the start of their career and love for the great game of baseball. And we've taken in Blue Jay games together, both of our families, and it's great to see Vladdy playing, and it's kind of a nice father-son duo there. So that's our second star. It is the Guerrero family.
Yeah, I think Vladimir Guerrero Sr., he was known as a bad ball hitter. He'd swing at anything and knock it out of the park.
You got it.
Yeah, fantastic baseball players. Good choice. So, Regan, our second star?
Our second star is the Nurse family, a Canadian sport family with professional athletes across many different sports.
Yeah, so Richard Nurse was a receiver with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and his wife, Kathy Nurse. She played basketball at McMaster University.
Their children picked up the love of sports, too.
Yeah, Darnell Nurse plays for the Edmonton Oilers. Tamika Nurse played basketball at Bowling Green University. And Kia Nurse plays for the New York Liberty of the WNBA.
Truly all sports family with many cousins doing great as well.
Yeah, so that's our second star, the Nurse family. And we'll move it.
Great pick.
Yeah, it's local here for us, being from Hamilton, so a very popular local sports family. So I think we got a really good one here from you guys for your first star. Take it away.
Yeah, Ashton, take it away with our first star on Dishin It.
Our gold medal is the Curry family.
Oh, yes, the Curry family. And I must tell, actually, you guys and the listeners at home, we kind of specially selected all these ones because we took you through our third star, our second star, so that was football to baseball and now to basketball. And all those things actually we experienced at Disney at the All-Star Sports Resort. But Ashton, Del Curry, who was a former Raptor, and then also to, of course, Steph Curry. Why don't you tell them a little bit about their great career?
Their great career. Del Curry had an amazing career. He was on the Raptors and moved on to the Hornets.
Yeah, played from 87 to 2002 did Del Curry, but of course his son did bigger things, right? Steph Curry.
Yeah, he is still on the Golden State Warriors. He's getting lots of money right now. He's getting $45 million.
Wow. And then also, too, he's got 3 rings behind him as well, too, right, Ashton?
Yeah.
And 6 All-Star appearances, All-Star game appearances. So that's our first star, Regan and Mike. It's been so fun doing this. So that's our first star, the Curry family.
That's an awesome choice. Now, for the listeners at home, me and Anthony had an opportunity to see Seth Curry play.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so we were in we did a road trip to see the Leafs play in New Jersey, and then I remember you and I, we hopped on the train and we went to New York, and we caught the Golden State Warriors against the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden. And it was just a fantastic experience, and I'm so grateful for you, Anthony, for organizing that. It was such a wonderful experience, actually being in MSG, traveling with you, and having a wonderful time with my fantastic chum there.
Oh, you're bringing me back memory lane there, Halsey. Well, that must have been, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, maybe. Yeah. I think it was about 5 years ago or so. And so, yeah, that's right. Well, what an experience that was. I mean, it was a great all-star chums trip because we took in the Leafs on the Friday night, and then we headed over into New York City and enjoyed everything about the city that never sleeps, and then took in that game. That's right. Great memories there at Madison Square, and yeah, wow, that was an impressive weekend.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was that's an all-time memory for me.
Me as well.
Yeah.
Me as well.
So Regan, our first star.
Our first star is the Subban family. PK Subban is a name that might jump to your head when you think of the Subban family.
Yeah, his father, Carl, is a retired school principal who played cricket and was a sprinter.
His mother, Maria, was a sprinter as well. Together, they raised some great kids.
Yeah, PK, along with his siblings Natasha, Jordan, and Malcolm, are all raised with stewardship in mind, working with vulnerable youth in tough Toronto neighborhoods, or donating $10 million to a Montreal hospital. The Subbans have tied stewardship and professional hockey together.
Recently, PK Subban donated $50,000 to the GoFundMe effort to raise money for Gina Floyd, the daughter of late George Floyd.
Yeah, so that's our number one sports family. I am a huge PK Subban fan. I love him since his effort playing for Team Canada Juniors, and I just love him. I think he's fantastic. He's one of my all-time favorite athletes. So that's our number one sports family.
Wow. First of all, I am going to ask you something.
Sure.
He's turning the tables here on this episode of Dishin at Ashton. You guys okay with that?
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I didn't actually know about the George Floyd part.
Yeah, so it's interesting, Ashton. I think with some athletes and celebrities, they like to maybe donate money because they would like the attention. And then there's other athletes or celebrities that donate, go to hospitals, do a lot of charitable work, and they don't want the press to really know about it because they're doing it from a good place in their heart. And I think with PK Subban, he doesn't need the fanfare. He doesn't need the press to know what he did. He's more using his platform as an athlete to do great things for people, but it's not about him at all. So he doesn't publicize himself a lot. This is one of the events one of the things he did because he thought it was the right thing to do. So that's probably why you didn't hear too much about it, because PK Subban wasn't intent on a lot of people knowing, because that wasn't the motivation for him doing it.
Well, that's a great choice to both of you. Cheers to that, because it's just getting more insights in terms of not only just pecan. Sorry, I'm thinking about those Disney brownies or something I had there.
Very good.
But no, the Subban family, all those great insights about what they are doing on and off the ice and the court and the field. It's amazing.
Yeah. So that's our top 3 sports families. We really appreciate the Champs and Chums podcast team joining us. It was fantastic to have you on, Anthony and Ashton. Your insights are fantastic, certainly touching on all 3 of the major sports here in Canada and the United States is just awesome, and bringing back memories of our road trips together. It's just great to have you on.
Oh, it's been great to be on, Ashton?
Yeah, it was a blast being on the podcast.
Yeah, sure was. Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll be sure to check out your Father's Day episode coming up today, on Sunday. Yeah, great. So
sounds great.
So thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks a lot, guys. Great to be on.
Bye.
Welcome back to Dishin It, the Daughter and Daddy podcast. It's time for Daddy and Daughter Outside the Park. What's going on, Regan?
I'm playing outside a lot.
Yeah, what are you doing when you're playing outside?
Soccer, dirt hills, skate park, racing, falling, drones.
Oh, tell me about the drones.
There's a boy who lives down the street. I think he's 10 or 11, and he has drones, and he can connect it to an iPad.
Yep.
So then the drone has a camera so we can see where he's going. And yeah, we do it in the backfield behind his house.
It's pretty cool. And the drone follows him around?
No, but he can plant it onto a person. So me and Madison, who's my best friend,
Yeah.
well, one of my best friends, we were running in the backfield back and forth with the drone chasing us.
Yeah. Well, that's fun. And you've been playing a little bit of soccer at the park too with some friends.
Yeah.
Are you maintaining the physical distancing to keep everybody safe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important too. It's important to get out and get that physical activity, but it's also important to keep everybody safe. Yeah. So, you know what? I want to talk about the Honda Indy. So we were going to go to the Honda Indy, which was canceled about 7 weeks ago. It got canceled. We were really excited to go. We had a 3-day pass to go to Honda Indy in July. We were going to stay at an Airbnb, which was really nice. The host was fantastic. But unfortunately, everything's canceled. And for me, as a parent, Airbnb has been fantastic with refunding us our money. Unfortunately for me, and I'm just putting it out there, folks, the Honda Indy has not refunded our money, even though we paid for it in full in January, well before we knew about COVID. The Honda Indy canceled 7 weeks ago, but still hasn't refunded our money, and that's just a little disappointing from an organizational point of view that they're holding on to people's money. And certainly I'm not the only one. I've heard lots of people are fighting to get money back from the Honda Indy during COVID-19, and when everybody's sort of suffering a little bit of economic hardship, that Honda feels that they should hold on to people's money. So that's my little spot, my little complaint. I don't usually complain that much, but just disappointed in their lack of ability taking care of the people that attend their events. Any thoughts on that, Regan? No? No. Yeah, so we'll probably spend our dollar somewhere else if and when we get that money back. So that's my little downer news. In good news, things are opening up here in Ontario, and most of the provinces in stage 2 of reopening, which is really exciting. Yay! So it's great that we can go out and we've had some sushi from August 8.
The Brimbrook Grill is opening up for people to do it outside.
Yeah, that's right. The Bimbrook Grill has some people on the patio outside. Good catch there, Regan. We saw it on Friday. And so it's nice to see people out enjoying it and trying to be as responsible as possible. Right? So that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything else going on?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, that wraps up the Daughter and Daddy Outside the Park segment. I think we're going to move into Walt's Wisdom. What do you say, Regan? We move into Walt's Wisdom?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Think, Believe, Dream, Dare. It's a foundational Disney quote, and it's an inspiration for our next segment, which is Walt's Wisdom. And we're going to talk about some Disney quotes that we found this week that are kind of fun and special. So, Regan, do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
You can.
You can, okay. So, you don't have time to be timid. You must be bold and daring. Lumineer from Beauty and the Beast. So you don't have time to be timid. You must be bold and daring. Lumineer from Beauty and the Beast.
That's one of my favorite characters from that movie.
Yeah, he's a really cool character. I picked the quote. I thought it was kind of touches base with what's going on in the world, where people are voicing their discontentment with the lack of equality, and they're, in the most part, doing that responsibly and safely. And it's nice to see that people are being bold and daring, and that it's safe for them to do so, and that hopefully equality for people of all races will happen one day. So I like the quote. I thought it's sort of prevalent to what's going on in the world today, and so that's why I picked it. Your turn, Regan.
Okay, my quote is, "It's up to you how far you go. If you don't try, you'll never know." And that's from The Storm and the Stone, but it should be sword in the anvil.
Can you read that again to me?
It's up to you how far you'll go, but if you don't try, you'll never know.
Yeah, what does that mean for you?
If you never try to do something you hope for, if you never try to do something that you hope for, you never know if you're going to get it or not.
That's right. So you got to put effort into something. You actually have to try, even if you think you might not succeed at it. Yeah, I like that quote.
Thank you.
Can I tell you a little story?
Sure.
So when I was probably 17, 18, somebody took videotape of me playing soccer. And they sent it over to England to a few different clubs. And 3 clubs wanted me to come over and try out for them. Did you know that?
No.
No. And guess what I did?
You went over to England?
I did not go.
Oh.
So it sort of speaks to your quote.
Yeah.
I didn't go, so I will never know if maybe I could have played a bit and made some money playing soccer.
Well, I would have played to make money. I would have played because it's fun.
Yeah, I was too scared and I just wanted to have fun and I didn't want the pressure. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's a great quote, right? Because I probably should have went to at least try and see what would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was never that good, but there were some teams that were interested. Yeah. So anyways, that quote speaks to me because that's an unfulfilled dream of mine, but one that I live with and I'm comfortable with because I quite enjoy my life and having the wonderful family I have. So Regan, good quotes. High five. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So I think it's time we wrap up the episode. We had a jam-packed episode with everybody, right?
Yeah.
So let's wrap up episode 7 of Dishin' It, the Daughter and Daddy podcast. I hope the listeners enjoyed this episode.
Me too.
Yeah.
As always.
That's right. So what do we have in store for episode 8, Regan?
In episode 8, we'll have our review of Port Orleans, and we'll have our top 3.
Yeah, we're going to do our top 3. We'll have that as well as our normal segments, Walt's Wisdom and the Extra Magic Minute. Yeah, so it'll be a jam-packed episode 8, I'm sure. Yeah, and we might even squeak in a little bit of maybe Disney reopening. So, Regan, I think we should sign up from Studio A113. Listeners, you can catch all the latest news and updates on Dishin' It on Twitter and Facebook at Dishin' It Podcast. And Dishin' It is also on Instagram and YouTube as well. And families, as always, we reward listeners who listen to the end. Big thank you to Mrs. H for allowing us to record this podcast. Thank you to Kevin MacLeod for the great music.
And thank you. We hope you enjoyed listening to Dishin' It, the Daughter and Daddy podcast. Please remember to think, believe, dream, and dare. Goodbye, family.
Regan, what is episode 7, Extra Magic Minute?
Do you know why all the Disney cast members point with 2 fingers?
Is it because they're taped together?
No.
Why?
Well, it's all because it's less rude. It is part of their training when they start.
Oh, yeah, I can get it. Yeah, because if you point with one finger, that's kind of rude. It's kind of like you're...
If they're pointing somewhere with
2.
one finger, and if it's kind of the direction of a person, they think they're pointing at you, and that could be rude. So they point in 2 fingers for the direction.
That's good. Very smart, Regan.
Thank you.
Goodbye, family.
Bye.